Back everyone. In today's lesson we're going to learn about simple interest. You might be wondering, simple interest, is there something called confusing interest? And yes, there is something called compound interest. We won't be studying that this year, but I will give you a quick glimpse at what compound is, and that way you'll have a small understanding of what simple interest is compared to compound interest. Interest can be a good thing or a bad thing. If you put money into a bank, you make interest off of that money. The bank pays you money for keeping your money in their bank. That's good interest. Bad interest is when you want to buy a house, a car, or take out student loans. And that's what we're focusing on right now. So when you borrow money, you pay a fee called interest. Simple interest is a percent of the original amount borrowed. Principal is the original amount of money borrowed. So we have some vocabulary here. Interest is the fee or the money that you either have to pay or that is paid to you. So if you have a credit card, if you have a mortgage, if you have student loans, you have to pay interest, which is like paying an extra fee. When you put money into a savings account, you are paid interest because the bank uses your money and then lets other people borrow that money. You are paid interest by the bank for letting that happen. That's kind of a weird thing to think about, right? So you put your money into a bank, the bank lets other people borrow the money, charges them interest, and also charges you interest. You get interest because the bank is using your money to loan out to other people. So when you have an interest in a bank account, that's a good thing because you're getting that money. But when there's interest from a credit card or interest from a mortgage or interest from a car loan, that's an extra fee or extra money that you have to pay. The principal is what we consider the original amount of money or the starting amount of money. So that's going to line up with our 100%, like we would see with like the original price of something. To find the simple interest, we use the following formula. The capital I stands for interest. That's a dollar amount. The P stands for principal, which is also a dollar amount. Percent as a decimal. And T stands for time. Time. It's important that you write the annual interest rate as a decimal. That's one reason why we practice that at the beginning of the topic, is because we need to write all of our interest rates or all of our interest percents as decimals when we put them inside this equation. Change a percent to a decimal, we divide the percent by 100. The time should also be written in years. So if you are told that something is going to be in the bank for 6 months, or you have a loan that you're paying in 6 months, that's half of a year. If it's 12 months, then that's the full year. 24 months is 2 years. Let's look at the following example. You put $250 into your savings account. So that's the principal. Savings account. The account earns 4% simple interest. What is the interest you have earned after 5 years? So we have to find the interest after 5 years. And then we have to find the total balance. Balance is another word for total. So they want us to find out how much interest you're going to have earned after 5 years, but then also what would be the total in your bank account. So that's going to include the interest plus the amount of money that's already there. See what I mean when we finish this example. So start by writing the equation down. We don't know how much interest we're earning, but we do know that the principal is $250. The interest rate is 4%, so we write that as a decimal. And the time is 5 years, so we multiply by 5. So now we just get our calculators and we multiply those numbers. Okay, so we've answered the first question, which is that you would make $50 in interest. To find the balance, you need to add the $250 that was in the account. You have to add that to the interest. Balance is $300. The interest is $50. And when you find the balance is the principal plus the interest. So you take the principal, you add on the interest that you found, and then you get the dollars. You can solve for other variables in the formula besides just the simple interest. It says that a bank offers a savings account with 2% interest. If Jessica puts $1,000 in the account, how long will it take her to make $100 in interest? So write the template down first. So we have the interest is equal to the principal times the rate times the. In this case, we know how much interest is being earned. That's $100. We know the principal, which is $1,000. We know the interest rate, so we write that as a decimal. So remember, here we move it over 2 places. So we follow the order of operations and we multiply first. So 1,000 times 0.02. Now the variable is being multiplied by 20, so we're going to divide by 20. So 100 divided by 20 is 5. So that means that she will need to have her money in the account for 5 years in order to make $100 in interest. So what I did is I wrote down the template first. I put in the values that were told. I did this extra multiplying step. From last year, when you have an equation where you multiply the variable times something, you divide by that number to find your solution. So 100 divided by 20 is 5. What you're going to do now is you're going to be watching other videos and answering questions on the back. and you'll be learning how to find simple interest and answering other questions using the simple interest formula.